Hello, my Teaserking family. A little late show. I want to just address a few emails I've gotten. First, I want to talk about Comex. And I want to talk about the other guys on YouTube or who you're listening to. You trust me, you listen to me. I tell you, bet this game, the game wins a lot of the times, not all the times. And and that's what we do. So you believe me because what I say comes true. But you have to trust me, which you don't at first. And then you realize, yes, he knows what he's talking about. And that's how that's how businesses work. When you're watching these guys on YouTube, you don't know them. Are they economists or salesmen? A lot of these guys are salesmen. So they're going to say this Michael Pinto, this Peter Schiff. These guys are idiots. They're not economists. They're trying to sell you something. So they're going to make it. So are they real? Do they know what they're talking about? This is where I'm saying, no, they don't know what they're talking about, because I know what I'm talking about, because I got a freaking master's in it, right? I got a master's in Austrian economics and finance. I also have a master's in football betting, because I've been doing it. Really, I started in 1969. Teasers I started in 1977. So if I tell you something, I don't expect you to believe it right away, but after I tell you something that it happens, I tell you something, and more than likely it happens, or more often than not it happens, then you go, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. And that's what I usually get. It takes a while. I'm very confident because I've done it and I know what to do and it works. So I figured out the formula. When you listen to these guys on YouTube, I was watching some guy on Mike Maloney today. Mike, I don't know. He's okay, but he doesn't know. He's not an Austrian. See, there's Keynesians and Austrians. Keynesians are socialism. Oh, print money, it'll be okay. They're wrong, obviously. And there's Austrians who say free market. Just let the market go. Let the interest rate go to the market, wherever the market says. If the free market Austrians are, I'm going to sell, this cost me $40. I'm going to sell it for, let's say this cost me 25. I'm going to sell it for 50. I'm going to make a nice profit. Therefore, what's the market selling it for? The market's selling it for 50, cost me 25. I'm going to make $25 a bottle. I'm going to make it. When the market goes down to 20 or my costs go over 50 and I can't sell it, I get out of the market. That's the free market is. I can make it cheaper than I can sell it. I'm going to make it. And if I can't, I won't. And that's what the market is. So what you have going on now with Comex, it's not the market. Comex is saying, I'm going to sell this for $5, even though it costs me more than the 5. I'm going to sell it for 5. And what's happening is all the banks are now lining up buying this for $5 a bottle, knowing it's not $5, knowing it's 50. And that's what's happening now with gold and silver. Gold and silver has been kept down on purpose. Who's buying it? The banks. Is it fixed? Absolutely. It's worse than any Michael Jordan basketball game or any football game that you ever watched. Comex is not real. The number's fantasy. $20 an ounce is not the real price for silver, nor is $1,800 a real price for gold. It's just not. There's way more demand. So what causes this price to go up? If it's $50 is the demand, right? Everybody buys it. It can't stay on the shelf. They raise it to 60. Still can't. They raise it to 70, to 80. If it keeps selling out, they keep raising the price. So gold and silver keeps being bought, but what they're doing is manipulating the price, Comex, by keeping the price low on purpose so banks who they're controlling can buy it at a cheaper price. So the banks are buying the whiskey at $5, or they're buying the silver. You can't find it at 20, but let's say they're buying it at 30. They're not letting the real price run through. So if you hear silver's going up to 40 or silver's going up to 50, that's bullshit. It's already way past that, but you're not seeing it because the market, everybody looks at this Comex and the banks are controlling it and they're keeping the price down. I call it, it's like Alabama, right? Alabama line should be 7 and it's really 14. Well, that's not the real line, but they know everybody's going to bet Alabama, so they keep the line inflated, and they steal 4 or 5 points from you because they know that you're going to bet Alabama. Like now, you're going to bet the Yankees. The Verlander line tonight was high because they know you're going to bet Verlander, who's going to bet against them. That's what Comex is. It's we're going to keep the price artificially down low so the banks can buy, and we're all going to make money on it. And the public thinks, oh, it doesn't go anywhere. So the public's not going to buy, the banks are, and the banks have bought a ton. And I'm going to give you a video in 2 seconds, but I want to explain it. So the price is fixed low so the other banks can buy it. So it's like me keeping the price low so you guys can buy silver cheap. And I'm going to keep it low, and you're going to kick back to me, and what do we care? And it's illegal. It's wrong. People are in court right now over this, and it's a very illegal thing, but it's not market. It's not, this is $50. It's they're trying to sell this for $5. The difference is you can't get it for the $5. The silver, I don't know where they're getting it. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's fixed. It's not the true price. So please understand that. I'm telling you the real price of silver is between $500 to $2,000 an ounce easily. And it's an emotional thing. It's just like football. If all of a sudden the line moves from 3 to 5, people jump on the game because, oh, it's good. Somebody must know something. And it goes to 7. Why does the line move up 4 or 5 points? That's the thing. So once silver and gold get rolling, the reason I say 2,000 for silver and 50,000 for gold, all the money that's been printed. So the price is at $1 billion, but now you got $1 trillion. So you got all this extra money, and gold simply divided, right? It's a billion divided by so many ounces gives you, $1,500. Well, now it's $1 trillion, but it's not even one. It's like 10 trillion divided by ounces. So it gives you at least $20,000 an ounce when you look at the inflation and all the money printing. Yet Comex is keeping it down. It's all bullshit. So this is what I'm trying to explain. That price isn't real. Buy as much gold and silver as you can at these prices. But I'm warning you, the banks are buying it. And once there's no more, you're not going to see these prices. So you've got to take advantage of what Comex is doing. $20 silver. Now I can't get it. I get it for 35. It's 20, but I got to pay 35. So even though I'm paying 35, I'm taking advantage of the bullshit, right? It's like taking advantage of a football spread. Alabama, Georgia, that over-under was 55. We bet it under and under and under and under. We took advantage of the bad line. That's what I do, is I take advantage of the bad lines. That's what I do in football, and that's what I do there. So I'm going to run you a video that I saw today. This guy runs a silver and gold place. He gets his money from the mint. So he's going to tell you what's going on. It's about 3 minutes, so please bear with me. And
last 2 years.
So
the majority of the time I've been in this industry, you never saw this kind of.
This guy's really good.
Whatsoever, where you're getting a decade's worth of deliveries in 1 year off of the Comex and silver and gold, and put along that door and huge amounts out of SLV, or taking large deliveries off the LM. So I think it's something that people realize that.
I'll answer in a second, Nick.
And it is classic misdirection by big money who uses misdirection of rhetoric, the media, misdirection of price with levered futures contracts, and misdirection in that environment of taking massive possession without really anyone talking about it. It only adds conviction to my belief that you are witnessing a global de-dollarization. They're doing it quietly, they're tiptoeing, until the light shines on them and it turns to an all-out sprint. We're not there yet, but it will. And I think for people to realize the significance of this and use these manipulated, subsidized prices as a tool. One last thing that I'd like to talk about, it was on your show that I predicted a few weeks ago that we would see escalating premiums in gold eagles. They continue to rise and rise and rise, with the U.S. Mint curtailing production of all gold by 50% into the second half of the year, which made 0 sense to me based upon silver being the larger of the two metals in terms of acquisition or percentage of sales. And here we are since that early July prediction, if you will, and gold eagles are up over $100 an ounce, $165 or higher on gold eagles. This is, if it is anything like what we see in silver eagles, it's not to come back down with silver eagles in 2 years. Is this a new reality in gold eagles? Not so sure, but if it is, I expect to see all gold premiums be dragged up by the higher eagle premiums. And I guess you could argue that's pretty similar to what we've seen with the silver eagle, and all premiums on all sovereign coins have risen to levels that, other than the last 2 years, something that we've never seen before.
I'm going to take you back to the beginning. It didn't. Okay. We missed the first minute.
We said last week that so far this year in gold, the other reportables that we've talked about have taken off 321 tons of gold off of the Comex in deliveries, or 307,900 ounces in deliveries. And when we talk about backdooring SLV, you have 100 million ounces taken out of SLV over the past 4 months by the commercial banks. So we are seeing a massive drawdown that we've been talking about in metal from the LME, from the Comex, and backdooring out of SLV. And so I think it's very important that people understand, and it comes across sometimes as being less than sincere when I try to say price really isn't the most important thing. Well, if you own it, yes, it is. You're thinking, well, what are you talking about? I bought it. It's worth less, or it hasn't done anything. But understand, the biggest money in the world, the most sophisticated, well-funded, well-informed traders on the planet are using these prices and this misdirection to drain the physical metal across the globe, and it's accelerating, and it isn't slowing down. So I think that's the one piece that people should take comfort in that, big money is not deterred by prices. In fact, they're using it perhaps even as a subsidy to accumulate and draw down physical holdings off the exchanges. And I think that's really something people should try and focus on when they are a little bit derailed, if you will, by prices that haven't.
Okay, so let me explain. Nick, what do you do when you want to cash in the metals in the future? What do you do with your Tom Brady rookie card? What do you do with your Mickey Mantle card? Anything like that. You do the same thing. You go sell it. You can go on eBay and you can sell it. You can go to the store. They're not going to give you as much as eBay, but you can get the cash right there. It's like, what do you do with the house? What do you do if you have a Picasso? What do you do with this? Or you bought diamonds. It's an asset like anything else. How do you sell an asset? You sell it just like you would sell. And, you put it up for sale. You sell it on eBay. You go to the store. All it is you're buying an asset. You're buying a painting. You're buying diamonds or pearls. It's the same thing. It's money. So you have nothing to worry about. People could possibly not be able to afford the asset once it's at that high price, is what I mean. Look who's buying it now. Countries, central banks, Russia, China. Believe me, the people buy Picassos, they're $1 million pieces, of course. Yeah, of course, there's poor people. Do they buy $1 million home? No. But do people buy $1 million homes? Absolutely. There's a lot of rich people. There's a lot of billionaires out there. And once people understand it, they would love to buy gold. You put gold on the market, I guarantee you all the Russians and the Chinese are going to buy it in a heartbeat from you, and the people in India. And you go to a coin store, go to your coin store and just take a half hour on a Saturday and just watch, and people will come in and they'll buy it. Now they're not going to give you the top dollar, or go on eBay and you'll just go eBay 1 ounce gold coin sold, pick the sold category and you'll see the price and you'll see them all sold. Do not worry. So if you bought $1 million house, would you worry about selling it? No, maybe now because interest rates are going up and people can't afford it. But in a normal situation, do you buy a Ferrari? It's 400 grand. Do you buy it and worry, will somebody afford it? Believe me, there's a long line of people wanting gold and silver that if it's on the market, they're going to buy it, especially when it dries up, right? What am I saying? I'm saying it's going to dry up. It's sort of like how I put out a lock on Sunday or Monday, UCLA, Miami, and the game's over-unders at 52. And what I do, I throw it out there because I say, we got to get it before it goes to 58. And by Saturday, it's 59.60, but here we bought it at 52. It's the same thing. People will buy whatever, your gold. What if it's a Mantle card, or Joe Burrow wins the Super Bowl and you got the Joe Burrow cards, or you got the Tom Brady rookie card? I showed you that Brady, the Montana rookie card. It's worth 100 grand if it grades a 10. Let's say I get it as a 10. Am I worried about selling it? No, I'll put it on eBay. I'll get 90 grand for sure, without a sweat, because you can't find it. So you can't think like that. That's what the market is, Nick. The market is what does the price come from? So when the Montana rookie PSA 10 goes for 100 grand, that's the market. Means if you got one, that's what you're going to sell it for, because that's what the market says it's willing to pay for it. It's a very simple thing. So if gold goes to 50,000 an ounce, which is what I'm saying, because the dollar is going to lose its value, and you can see it's already happening with the higher prices. It's the dollar losing value. That's why the prices are up. So once it goes to 50,000 in the market, that's what they're willing to pay for it. You'll have no problem getting rid of it. People will stand in line to pay you for it. But what I'm saying with Comex, it's not in the market. Comex is keeping it away from the market. So it's like Comex selling the Joe Montana rookie card for $5,000, even though on eBay in the market it's 100,000. The Rice is 100,000. The Mantles are millions. That's the market talking. Comex is keeping the Mantle card at 5,000, and me and you are going, shit, I'm going to buy 100 of them because I know they're worth $1 million. But Comex is price fixing them down, and that's what's happening. And that's why I'm sitting there saying, don't worry, it's going to be much higher once it gets out of Comex into the market, and Comex cannot hold it. Now, the video I showed you is basically this guy sells gold and silver, buys from the mint, and is saying these people, the banks are buying and buying and buying at this cheap price. That's why I tell you, don't worry about the price. People are buying it here, and then the banks are buying it. Well, the banks aren't stupid. They're not going to buy it if they didn't think. But don't worry about getting rid of it. To answer your other question, can't the possibility of a new administration change all of these plans currently? No. It doesn't matter who's in charge. If I'm in charge, it won't matter, because the inflation's gone. You can't stop the inflation, because if you raise interest rates enough to get the inflation under control, we'd be in the biggest depression in the history of life. Because costs would then go way up. Credit card interest would be 50%. You couldn't buy a house. It would be 20% to buy a house. To buy a car would be 20%. All these businesses would go out of business because people couldn't afford all the rising in prices that you would create with that. There'd be massive unemployment. And you'll see they're not going to go up anymore. This is a phony report, and everybody's excited because the phony inflation of 9% is at 8%. Why would that be good news? It's still 8%, and it doesn't include food, real estate, gasoline, energy is not included in their 8%. If you then include it, it's more like 15 to 20%. So let's give it 15%. It's still 15%, even if it went down 1% and everybody's celebrating. Anybody that buys stock now is going to lose their ass. Okay. What I'm saying, Nick, and anybody else, when I'm telling you to buy gold and silver, you can't lose because it's money. And the currency they're printing as paper is just garbage. It's paper. This is what I keep saying. It's paper. This is currency. It's paper. So therefore, it has no value. And it's just the government going to Target saying, you're going to take $20 for, you're going to take a $20 bill and you can mark your items at $20 and people will pay you and you have to take it. But Russia says the paper's no good. And then you've got all this BRICS countries, Russia, China, India, getting off the US dollar. 55 countries are getting off the US dollar. You got all these countries going broke. What are they going to do? They're going to get gold and silver to survive. That's what the central banks are buying. So what we are central banks, right? If they're buying it, we're going to buy it. And that's what I'm saying. But because they're holding it down and depressing the price, not at market, but at this fantasy, and it's $20 for silver, you can't find it for 20. So you're buying it at 35 for the Eagle and maybe 28 for the Buffalo rounds, which are still, we're buying an ounce of silver. Or like the Highland Mint. I have Highland Mint, Michael Jordan and Jerry Rice. They're going for $50 and Jordan goes for like $80, but it's an ounce of silver, and the ounce of silver still has the ounce, value. It's more than the Eagle because you throw in Emmett Smith or Montana or Bobby Orr, and that's why it's more. So it's like any other asset, only this is money. This is the only real money in the world. This is all the way back from the Romans, right? The Romans used it. Why did they go out? They debased it. They basically took all gold out of their money. So they had an ounce of gold, and that's how you spent it. And then it became a half ounce and a quarter ounce. Then there was no gold at all. And what happened to the Roman Empire? Goodbye. So the only way to stop it is to come out with currency backed in gold and silver. So to answer one of your questions, Nick, is the value is going to go through the roof because they'll realize that's our way out is gold and silver. And then that's going to really zoom the price up. And Zimbabwe's doing it. And the problem is they're only selling an ounce for like 18.20. And in Zimbabwe, 90% of the people are so poor they can't afford the gold. And people don't get it. It's not, inflation isn't prices up. It's printing too much money. It's Topps baseball cards where there's 1 million Barry Sanders and they're worth $2 instead of 100. That's what's going on in the world, but it's going on in every country. If you look at it, Japan, China is $10 trillion in debt. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to need gold and silver to survive. All these countries are going bankrupt, and I don't understand why, because every country is doing the same fucking thing, and it makes no sense, and everybody's currency is bad. So I can't tell you, Nick, to go buy Swiss francs. I can't tell you to buy euro because it's not any better. The yen's going out, Pakistan's going out, India's in deep trouble with the ruby. And then you saw what happened with the ruble. They came out with a new ruble backed by gold, and all of a sudden that's the best currency to have. Why? Because it's backed by gold. It's actually backed by something. So it has a value of gold and silver and stuff. That's why it's getting stronger. They understand what's going on. You cannot lose with it. Buy as much as you can. I'd recommend this over the Burrow card or a Brady card, but for flavor, you can certainly buy those. But I would buy Brady. I would buy Jordan. I would buy Mantle, or, get a Montana rookie or a Rice rookie or something. I would recommend those. Those will hold the value because they're real assets and they're real cards. The Bitcoin, again, I don't there's no value in it. It's not an asset. You can't sell it. And then, that's the problem. So really, that's what I wanted to just say. Comex is not the market. It's keeping the price down. And you've got to be careful of these guys on YouTube when they look at a chart, and Mike Maloney, I like Mike with his little comparison of the Roman Empire and the U.S., but he's losing me with these charts. Austrian economists do not use charts. Do you ever see me use a chart? The only chart I use is football trends, where I say, hey, this team's 19-2 as a road dog. And that's not a chart. That's a fact. Getting enough data to say, look, this is what happens when the Lions are road dogs. You bet against them. That's what I use, but it's not a chart. So he's using charts, so he's really confusing me. But like his buddy on this chart today said 2,400, I immediately give a negative, and I immediately go into his comment section and say, Mike, have you ever heard of Comex? It's price fixed. This $1,800 is an illusion. It's not really what the price of gold is. It's what Comex is saying it. And that's the same thing with silver. And that's why I'm kind of trying to say, forget the $30 silver price. It's Comex keeping it down. It's not the market. Once we get to the market, and it's going to flood, because everybody, like the banks are doing it now, right? That's why I showed you the video. Look what the banks are doing. The banks are buying physical. They're not in the ETF anymore. They're actually taking, you heard him say how much is going on. Now, this guy works with the mint, so he knows what's going on. And, and they're buying it. I think they bought 300 tons. And apparently a ton's a lot, because he's saying it's like 3 million ounces. Well, think about it. The banks bought 3 million ounces. They're not stupid. They got better things to do with their money. So that's what'll happen. And then it's going to go to market. And once it hits market, then goodbye. Then it's really going to zoom. And then then the fear comes in. So it's like a football game, right? The spread's at 6, it goes to 7, 8, 9, and everybody jumps on the bandwagon. 10, 11, 12. Somebody must know something. The sharp must know something. Da 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 da. And I'm telling you, I'm the sharp. And I'll tell you, if I like the number at 6, if I like the number at 11, I'll tell you, let's be careful. So you have the benefit of the sharp right here for football. So I don't get emotional. If I see the line going up, I almost pass on it, because I've already made my market number. That's where we win with the football. I'm making the market. I'm saying they're 7 points better. Georgia's 7 points better than Alabama, and the spread's 2. We're taking Georgia. And that's why I cross over. So I'll do a teaser from -2 to +4. And everybody says, don't go over 0. And I go, fuck you. The line should be 7. We should be laying 1. We're getting 4. Are you kidding? It's a great number. So I'm the market. I know the market well enough to be the market. I could easily make the lines in Vegas. And I told you the story of Michigan, Ohio State a few years ago. In Vegas in August, Michigan was a 3-point favorite. I tell whoever the sports book director or whatever, VP, your line's wrong. Ohio State should be favored. They've won 19 out of 20, and they're going to win again. And he laughed at me. And then I got the last laugh because Ohio State won by 20. And I knew Ohio State should be favored. I didn't know why Michigan was favored in the game when Ohio State always beats them. And that's my point. I knew the market. I knew that line was wrong, and I took advantage of it. And that's what we do. So I'm looking at the market on gold and silver, and I'm telling you, the real price of gold is $50,000 an ounce. Once it's not going to go to 50 right away, but that's where it's headed. And silver is going to be 2,000 to 3,000, maybe 5,000 an ounce. That's where it's headed, because it's going to go right along with gold, because it's real money. And that's why I say that. I'm not looking at a chart, but I'm smart enough to understand Comex isn't the market. So once it gets established, and then once the run, and that's what he was talking about, once it runs, and once silver hits 100, you're going to see it hit 1,000, because then everybody will. Right now, everybody is not informed. They go to their manager and he puts them in stock. Why is the stock market up? Inflation's 9%, really 16, 17. Housing market's getting killed. Why are stocks going up when everybody's, Apple, how many iPhones do you think Apple's going to sell? They're going to miss earnings. Ford's missing earnings. GM's missing earnings. They're all going to miss earnings because People have less money, aren't going to spend as much. It's very simple economics. If prices are higher, you buy less. If steaks go from $10 to $15, you're not buying it. But if it came down to $5, what would you do? You'd buy 3 or 4 of them and throw them in your freezer. That's what's happening. That's what I'm telling you. And I understand it. I have an Austrian economics background and I fully understand it. So I'm not like trying to be, sell you, go buy 20 ounce. I don't sell anything. I wouldn't sell an ounce of gold or silver at these prices, $35 an ounce. I give them out for birthday gifts, but I would never like take it back to the coin store and get $35 for it. Are you kidding me? It's worth 2,000. Why would I take 35? And then when it goes up to 2,000, I don't know that I'd be a seller. But that's where we're headed because they're devaluing the money, and that's the key, and that's what you got to understand. So even if Trump wins in 2024, what did he do in 2016? He created this mess. He's not innocent either. There's nothing he can do because you need to raise rates, and he can't do that either. So the only thing, if I was president, what would I do? I would come out with money backed by gold and silver, or I would just make all the money gold and silver. I said, we're switching from the US dollar to gold, and we're going to make, I got a tenth of an ounce. On Saturday, it was $240 or something like that. And I got 2 of them. So you go to a store, you use a tenth of an ounce, you use but all the prices would change. So gas might be a tenth of an ounce of gold. So you bring a quarter of an ounce and they give you change. I mean, just like they do with currency now. They give you something's $1.25, you give them $2, they give you 75 cents back. So in a sense, they'll be giving you gold. That's how it will work. That's how gold worked always. It's a value, and they come out with different denominations. But then you start pricing it in different, like a gallon of gas might be, a hundredth of an ounce of gold. They'll start coming out with like penny golds and nickel golds and stuff like that. That's how you price it. So it's not like you're coming in with an ounce. It's like, it's, for that example, it's like you bring $100 bill to Target and you buy $10 worth of goods. What do they do with the 100? Well, they give you $90 back. Well, that's what would happen with you come in with an ounce of gold to the restaurant or the grocery store. They're going to give you change back, and they'll print more, whatever. That's where silver comes in. Silver is a smaller denomination. That's why I'm buying so much silver. So right now I got almost 300 ounces of silver, and I got 40 ounces of gold. I want to get to 100 ounces of gold. I don't know if I can in time. I mean, I'm hoping that the time that they hold on enough for me to be able to buy it. I'm ready to just max my credit cards out and worry about the credit cards later. Because once the gold hits 20,000 an ounce, I'll sell 1 ounce. It'll pay the credit card off, because the credit card, even if I do a $10,000 on the credit card, that's not going to change. I'll owe 10 grand, but the ounce of gold I bought for 1,800 is now worth 20. So it was worth it, and I'm not buying 1 ounce. I'm buying 8 or 9 ounces. So that's what you're doing. And if you can't afford it, that's where you buy silver. It's a no-brainer. It's a lock. You can easily go to eBay, 1 ounce silver eagles. You'll see sold, $35 an ounce, pretty much. Not a problem. Or you go to the coin store, go where you bought it at, and just say you want to, how much can I get for it? I asked the guy about this chain. This is my graduation gift. This is 2 ounces of gold. He'll give me $1,500 an ounce because it's 18 karat gold. So it's not 24 karat. 24 karat is the 1,800 or whatever, 1,900. So this is 3/4 of it, but this is 2 ounces. So that's what I would get. I'd get roughly $3,000 for this. And any other jewelry will have value, but it won't be a full ounce. It'll probably be, now it's like 14 karat, but this was bought in the 90s. It was 18 karat. Anything, your wedding ring, anything, necklaces that you have, figure if it's 18 karat, it's 3/4. If it's 14 karat, it's probably a half. You'll get like a half for it. Baseball cards will hold up. I mean, my Montana rookie, I'll get it graded, and whatever we go to, I'll have that. That's my ace in the hole. The Brady card, the Montana, the Rice, all those rookie cards. Those are my aces in the hole. But I'm assuming gold will jump and silver will jump, and I'm not. It's just like selling a painting. It's just like selling anything. Like if I get like I said, if I get the Brady card graded and it comes at 10, and it's worth $80,000. The refractor I showed you. I'll go on eBay. I'll get 80,000. I'm not worried about it. Only by then it won't be 80,000 US. Now I heard a question. Okay, let's say the dollar collapses. The gold is valued in dollars. What will happen? Will the gold lose its value? No, the gold will simply change to whatever the new currency is. There will always be currency because it's trade. We want to go to Wendy's to get a hamburger. Well, you got to pay for it. So there's a need. That's why there is money in the first place, is so you can get paid by your employer. You can go get food. You can go pay your electricity bills, your cable, you buy your clothes. So that you need that medium of exchange is what it's called. And so they come up with money. The problem is these idiots shouldn't be printing it into oblivion. So they're going to come out with new, but they will not use. Everybody thinks they're going to come out with this Federal Reserve digital currency. They won't. Why not? The banks won't allow it. You think JP Morgan with Chase is going to allow digital currency and you're not going to use Chase anymore? There's no freaking way. Let's not forget who runs this country. The Chinese mafia, the Russian mafia, and what do? They own the banks. JP Morgan Chase is run by the mafia. You think they're going to not take their cut and they're going to lose the bank? Are you kidding me? There's no freaking way. Nick, on another note, I'm seeing some sports people on TV heavy on Utah this year. I know you don't like them, but at least other people see it. You mean I do like them? I don't. Did you misspell it? No, I love Utah, UCLA. What? Did you say it wrong? I like Utah a lot. I like Rising. That's my point. They're an over team. But I said, if you do my Pac-10 replay, don't like the reporters. Well, I mean, occasionally they're going to get it right. But no, what I'm saying is, well, they're trying to sell, and a lot of the times they make stupid comments. So me and you, we know we like Utah because of Rising, right? We know they're not a great defensive team, and when they play UCLA, we're going to bet over unless it's 100. That's going to be a 100-point game. The USC game is going to be a 100-point game. We know that. We're going to bet it over. The personalities, I tell you, really don't listen because they really don't know. In this case, okay, it's not that difficult to like Utah. It's like they always love Alabama, and I say Alabama's not that strong. They're in there for the name. And what happens to the quarterbacks in the pros? Tagovailoa, Jones, Hurst, none of them are any good because it's a system thing. But what do I tell you? How many of the sports guys pick Georgia to win? None. They all Alabama, and then Georgia won. So that's what I'm saying is they'll do the popular pick. It's like there's a few of people that are like understand what's really going on, and that's what I want you to go to. But don't just go to the sports personality and listen to them. There's this radio show, BetMGM. It's the most irritating show, and they'll get on and go, I'm going to take strikeouts in the game, in the Giant Dodger game. I'm going to say whatever is going to throw 5 strikeouts, or this guy's going to hit 2 home runs tonight. What the fuck are they talking about? They're just talking to try to get you to listen to them to make bets on MGM because that's their job. It's BetMGM. Go to the MGM app and bet because they know if you bet, you're going to lose. That's the point. And they want you to lose. So they just throw out bets. So, we know UCLA is a good team this year. We know Georgia's a good team this year. We know Clemson's a good under, but without a quarterback. We know Wake Forest has a great quarterback. So if they were to say Wake Forest isn't any good this year, or I don't like their quarterback, and that's what they do, they'll talk draft, and it's like, if they're not talking Hayner, from Fresno, and Rising from Utah, and Thompson Robinson from UCLA, and Van Dyke from Miami, and Hartman from Wake Forest. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Oh, the Ohio State quarterback in Alabama, they'll go 1-2. I just gave you 5 quarterbacks that are much better than them. Wake Forest quarterback actually just got ruled out for, oh shit, really? Oh, I hate that. Could have been a good well, yeah, because they don't have a defense. Well, that really sucks. Now the question is, you can't really bet them under because they don't got a good defense. This is the problem, but it's the same as an injury. So let's just assume you got injured. God, that sucks. So, well, let's see if it's a system. Let's watch the box score on Wake Forest the first few weeks and see if the next quarterback lights it up. Then there'll still be an over thing. I know Hartman's good anyway, but let's see what happens. But that's what we're looking for. And there'll be quarterbacks that we don't know about, and we're going to check the box scores. The kid at Baylor, he beat out Bohannon, and I thought Bohannon was outstanding. The kid beat him out and would have played in the bowl game, but he got hurt. Bohannon transferred because this kid beat him out. So this kid's going to be, another Van Dyke and another Rising, who, again, didn't start last year. They came in about the 3rd or 4th game, both Van Dyke and Rising, and they lit it up, and that's what you look at. Very big on Baylor this year, really balanced team. Yeah, I'm going to do a thing on that. I'll probably Saturday. I'll talk balanced teams. So I'll go in and say this team ran for 200, passed for 200. Not the really weak ones who run for 120 and pass for 120 like UMass or whatever. But yeah, I'll zero in on those teams. So I've gone through every team and every conference as of now, the last 2 weekends. So we have that. Go back through it if there's, if it's a Pac-10 team, and you can ask me, but I basically walk through all of them. And I know it's long, but I do it because it's live. I don't look at the time. You're asking me questions. I'm not going to leave. I keep answering the questions. So that's why sometimes I go long, but to me, it's a show. It's class. I'm not, timing it. As long as I can stay on, I'm going to stay on. There's no hurry. But I do like to show these videos because that's important. Now, it's what I've been saying, but this guy kind of says, look, they're pulling off all the coins. Now, I don't know that. I know they would be, but I don't know the timing. This guy's giving us the timing. This is why I'm yelling gold and silver, because now when I go to the restaurant and the guy says, well, why now? Why is it? This is why, because now they're realizing the currency's fucked and they're realizing they need to own physical. And that's why I say get out of ETFs, because that's not physical gold. That's fairy tale land, and you're not going to have any gold or silver, even though you think you are. The only way to have it is the actual coins, which is why I tell you to buy the coins. But again, this is the reason that I'm telling you, now is the time. Buy it before you can't get it anymore, because these banks are buying it up. I know my guy on Saturday, he only had he had 6 silver ounces. I bought all 6. He had some hidden away, but he says, yeah, I got some ordered. I go, you're never going to get them. And so just be careful. And then they'll come out with rounds that aren't Eagles. But I think this guy actually has, I think, Britannicas, which are Britain silver, and they're cheaper. So get those. Those are an ounce of silver is an ounce of silver. Yeah, Baylor's strong. Well, I gave you the top 10. I did a top 10 at the end of my video on Saturday or Sunday. And, it was basically Georgia, Alabama, and I think LSU will be a top 10. Baylor and Oak State, UCLA and Utah, Ohio State and probably Michigan. And really the ACC doesn't have anybody. I mean, Pitt will be okay. Clemson, good defense. And then there's the teams that we love, Nick, the Army, the Air Force, Fresno State. Those are the money makers there. App State in the Sun Belt, Coastal Carolina with McCall. Good game this week, or whenever it starts, is Army and Coastal Carolina, man. Jesus Christ, what a beautiful game. But yeah, I mean, and that's what you want. But that's why I watch the box scores. See, so where I'm at is I know to look. How do I pick the game? I know to look at the box score to see that's giving me my information. Balanced team, hot quarterback, shitty quarterback. That's why I look at the box score to get the information to figure out who to bet on. A wise man once told me the money is in the crumps, just like college teams. The crumps. Well, I'll go along with it. And the problem with the pros is so many different coaches, so many quarterbacks moving around. I mean, all I can say is I'm sticking with Green Bay, Kansas City, Denver now with Russell Wilson, and the crumbs. Okay. Yeah. Well, absolutely. That's why we stay. How often do I bet Alabama? Very, very rarely. Yeah. How often do I bet against them with Georgia, with LSU, with Burrow? What? Then I had LSU beating Alabama. I had Ohio State beating Alabama. I had Georgia beating Alabama. I'm not afraid of it, but I don't make a living taking Utah State against Alabama. Meaning small schools can, yeah, I get it. Any school that's not, what you're saying is stay away from Alabama, Ohio State. Normally they're overspread, and you want a school or a team that's kind of underneath, that's under the surface, and that's what I'm saying too. The Army. Who the hell is betting the Army but us? Who the hell is betting the Air Force? Who the hell is Fresno State? We had Nevada last year. That's what we do. And who the hell bets against, Rice? And we bet, so we're not only betting, but we're betting against. And to use one of my poker analogies, sometimes it's folding the hand is the best play, which is like not betting a game is the best play when we're not sure. So when we get, I get a game and I'm not sure, like baseball, right? What do I say? I said, I don't like it. I'm not playing it because I don't know. That's my key. Let's see. Well, let's see if we made money tonight, Nick. Let's go to Miami was winning 2-1 and Houston was winning 1-0, and you won the Mets. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Let's look at our finals. And Philly beat Miami 4-3. Alcantara 10-5 with a 2.01 ERA. That's disgusting. Anyway, laugh out loud. Me and my buddies would all bet Army, and our guy would have to move the line. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Took Mets Astros more than okay. So, well, the Mets killed them, so we just need Verlander. And that's the thing with baseball is like, well, that's the thing with gambling. I had a gentleman emailed me today about, I watch your site, but I don't know. I don't know how to bet or how do you do it. And I, you try to tell them, look, we don't win every game. We don't win every week, but we win more than we lose. We have the concept. We bet Verlander, but he doesn't win every game. But we're smart enough to bet Verlander. And that's what people got to understand when we're betting football. We're going to bet Utah, and most of the time they're going to go over. Once in a while, they turn it over, it rains or something. But if we bet them 10 times, we're going to win probably 8. And that's what you got to understand. This is like poker. You get pocket aces, you think you're going to win every time, but you don't. Or if you play stocks, you think you're going to, you're obviously buying Microsoft thinking it's going to go up. Oops, it went down. And that's my point with football. We bet it thinking we're going to win, and we make consistent bets, but we get the logic down. And then you can't argue with the logic. You just simply go with that. So let's hope Verlander comes through. But with gold and silver, it's better than that because it's for sure going to go up. Nothing can really stop it because Biden with these $1 trillion spending bills and sending another couple, $80 billion to the Ukraine. Where does he get the money? He's got to print it. Well, if he's printing the money's worth less because you're printing more and it's not back. See, the key is it's not backed by anything. So gold and silver are a sure thing. The stock market isn't. Microsoft could still fall, or Amazon or Apple or whatever, but we know why, because rates are going up. You have less money because costs are going up. So that's making it. So we understand you're raising interest rates, causing things to be more expensive. We have less money to go buy Amazon or go buy Apple or go buy whatever it is. You're certainly not going to buy a car with high interest rates for more money. My Camry I bought for 24 grand in 2018. I just paid it off, take it in for an oil change. The guy wants to buy my car for 24 grand. He says the new Camry's 30. I says, I'm not paying 30,000 for a Camry. That's never going to happen. Maybe after the gold goes up, I might, but not now. And so why did it go? So it's 30,000 and now interest rates got to be 4 or 5% to buy it. So you're driving it out of the market. See, so the higher prices take it off the market, right? This is $50, right? That's what it is. It was 20 when I bought it in 1997, but it's 50 now. But if you make it 80, how many people are going to buy it? Nobody, because you can't. And if you do, that means you got $30 less to spend on other things. Gold and silver is a lock. That's why I'm so, because you know how I am. If I'm giving you, Ohio State's going to beat Notre Dame. If I'm giving that to you, that's a pretty good chance that's what's going to happen. But gold and silver are not even like that. It's for sure that's going to happen. And then I'm telling you on this video that gold and silver are getting bought, which is even a bigger thing. The banks aren't buying it for the hell of it. They're buying it because they know it's going to go up because Comex is keeping it down. So once that they let go of Comex, it's going to go through the roof and all the banks are going to go, thank you. And China and Russia are going to go, thank you. And that's what's going to happen. And we know that's what's going to happen. And I'm explaining why, because Comex isn't market. And that's why it's going to go through the roof. And that's why I'm saying buy, because in a short period of time, you're going to go to the store, you're not going to be able to find it. And if you do, it's going to be $200 for the ounce, not the 30 or 35 you can get it for, which is why I'm saying buy it now. You can still get it, and you can still get it at a good price. And 35 is not expensive. But to answer all your other questions, just like anything else, you own a Mantle card right now, and it's worth 500 grand. Do you ask me, is it going to be hard to sell? No, I can sell a Mantle card, a piece of cake. Or the Brady card, or the Joe Burrow. Well, I mean, I'm sure his value is going to be good. It's a good investment, I agree. But Brady's won Super Bowls, and Mahomes, Russell Wilson. I'd rather buy those cards, but I'd rather just go to Montana and Rice and get those guys' cards, or go to Brady. He's already done it. Why take a risk? So, do you have a problem? So let's say you owned a $30,000 Brady card. You're not asking me that question. You're not saying, if it goes up, am I going to have a hard time selling it? You're not going to have a hard time selling it. And what I'm saying is, look at the Montana card. When I bought it in 91, after searching for 5-6 months for a nice centered one, and mine's pretty damn close to being nice centered and mint, I probably paid $60, $70 for it. Did I think it'd ever be worth 100 grand if it grades at 10? Never in my wildest dreams. And it didn't do it overnight. But if I was going to tell you the Rice rookie card's 100 grand, the Earl Campbell rookie card's 100 grand, the Tony Dorsett rookie card's you'd have looked at me like I'm on drugs. There's no way you would have agreed with me on that. But look where they are. So that's for gold and silver. It's going to be Montana card all over. And if somebody pays 100 grand for a Montana card, don't you think they're going to pay 100 grand for gold? Because everybody loves gold. There's much more demand for gold, and the central banks have most of it. So there's not a lot out for the public, but most of the public isn't buying it. So that's what you got to realize. So if you are trying to get into sports betting, do what we do, you've just got to understand we have our theories. We're gonna have mostly winners, but we will have losers. You just handle your bankroll. So if your bankroll is $1,000, then bet accordingly. Never let one bet beat you. It should always be 10% of your bankroll each week. So $100 a week you bet. And the idea is to build your bankroll. And then as you're building your bankroll, but you got the concept. I'm betting the Utah UCLA game over 100% of the time. And 90% of the time it's going to go over, and 10% it's not. But we're going to bet it every time, and we're going to win 90% of them. So you will have some losers, but the logic's there. So that's what you're looking at. But it's just it's like poker. You don't win every time you play poker. You don't win every time with your aces. But if you play it right and you're smart enough and you know how to read the opposition, you do win. And that's really what we're trying to do. This is no different than playing stocks. This is no different than playing poker. It's an investment, but you got to be smart about it, and you got to be patient and win and build your bankroll. You can't just bet $1,000 on one game and then hope it wins. And then if it loses, you're all like, oh shit, I lost all my money on one bet. You've got a small bets, a lot of, then we build it, and then we get it, and we build bankroll. That's how I do it. That's the only way to do it, to win. And yes, teasers, I've got it where it gives you a huge edge. Because you're taking sevens down to one, and they win by 3. How many times do they win by 3 and you're only laying 1, but you would have lost? See, the key is it turns losers into winners a lot. Probably 50% of the time you would have lost, you won because you bet the teaser. So keep that in mind. So it's a very good bet. Try to shop for odds, try to shop for points, and go from there. Anyway, I just wanted to do it. Based on some emails, I wanted to have this discussion on Comex and on gold and silver and show this video. It's just I'm trying to tell you what is going to happen, what is happening with my background. I know it. It's not a guess. It's not an opinion. It's facts. It's being fixed, and it can't stay fixed. It's going to bust. And that's what's going to happen. And so just understand that gold and silver are going to go up 100% for sure. So don't worry about that. And per Nick, how do I sell it? Are people going to want to buy it? Do people like Mickey Mantle cards? Hell yes. People like Jordan? Hell yes. Do they like Tom Brady? Yeah. You ever hear, oh, I couldn't sell my Tom Brady card went to 100,000. I couldn't sell it. You ever hear that? No, because there's a line of people that want Brady cards. There's a line of people that want good man. You find a PSA 9, 1950, anything Mickey Mantle card, you're getting $1 million for it. And believe me, there's a line of people, especially New Yorkers, would love a PSA 9 Mickey Mantle, 1955, 1956, 1957, any Mantle that's PSA 9. They would love it. And you can't find it. You go on eBay, you maybe see a 7. That's it. And there's a big difference. If you look at a 7, it's a couple thousand, and an 8, but then you look at a 9, and then you look at a 10. So look at the Montana rookie. The 10's $100,000. The 9's like 10 grand. So look at the 9. The difference between 9 and 10 is astronomical because it's so much limited. The 10 is very few. The 9 isn't, unless you got the 1906 just speaker where they made 6 of them. A PSA 2 sells for $10 million because you can't find it. And that's why they're limited. That's why the PSA 10s get the money, because there's so few of them. And that's what you have with gold and silver versus the dollar. So you've printed many, many dollars. So there's a ton of them. Let's call it a PSA 7, right? It's a PSA 7 Montana rookie card. Well, that's going to get you $500 because there's a lot of them. There's more of them than there's people wanting to buy it. Now I get a 9, you get 10 grand for it, 20 grand for it, because there's not that many and there's a lot of buyers. People would rather own a 9 than a 7. A 10, there's very few 10s, and more people want to buy it. That's what the market is. That's what drives the price. Well, dollars, who wants dollars? Dollars, there's too many of, but gold, there isn't. And so you have the same, it's a Montana card, right? Everybody wants gold. Right now, the point is we can get it for 1,800, and I'm saying it's worth 20 grand. And you're going, well, but it doesn't show 20 because they're not showing the true value. This way, the banks and the central banks can still buy it at this 1,800, wink, wink, even though everybody knows it's $20,000 an ounce, wink, wink. And these idiots at the charts, well, I see it going to 3,000 or 4,000. Dude, it's Comex. So you're talking about Comex pricing in the first place, which is fantasy. So that's why I say forget the Comex price. So when you look at it and it's 1820, you're like, no, the price is 20,000. I can buy it for 1,900. The guy's talking about premiums. It's like they're still these coin dealers are clueless to the real price. They don't know. So they're going, well, I don't know what the market is. So I'm going to market. I see the Comex is 1,800. I'll raise it 100. That's how they're doing. They're fucking idiots. They're not economists. They're salesmen. They know they can make money, and they know the competition. Everybody's selling it for 1,900. So that's what I'm going to sell it for, because you can go to Joe's and buy it. So I can't market at 5,000 or 10,000. I got to market at what everybody else is selling it for, or you're going to go there because they're all idiots. We're going to take advantage of it, which is why I'm saying that. But don't worry about getting rid of it. Don't worry that it won't go up. It'll be just like the Montana rookie card. He won 4 Super Bowls. You know his card's going up. And I bought it after he had won his 4 Super Bowls. It was still like $100, which is amazing. That's why. And I bought Brady's after I think he won 2 Super Bowls when I bought his rookie card. I think I opened up a box and I got a Pacific, the 366. But basically, I didn't buy it before they won. I didn't even buy sports cards in the 80s. I wish I would have bought Bobby Orr's when I was a kid. I knew about him and I wanted to buy it, but I didn't have any money. That's when there was no trade shows. You took a nickel to the drugstore, you put it in the slot, and you pulled it out and hoped you got a Bobby Orr. But I knew Bobby Orr. You could just watch him go, I want to buy this guy's cards. And that's what, so when you see that player, that's when you go after it. And that's what Nick's doing with the Burrow card. I don't blame him. I'm just saying you can get it. You can wait a year and get it. But like Aaron Rodgers, I don't really own too much of his. I do own a little Mahomes, but it's all Brady. It's all that's mostly what I got. Brady and then and the Montana and stuff. I didn't really there's nobody else that didn't know. Aaron Rodgers hasn't done anything. He's won 1 Super Bowl. Russell Wilson. I don't think I have one Russell Wilson card. He won the one. Had he won the 2nd Super Bowl, then I probably would have stopped, but I really haven't bought. I got so much inventory, I couldn't sell it all if I wanted to. So I'm kind of going through it, weeding out the crap and keeping the superstars. And then I got, with Bonds and McGuire and Sosa, which sucks. But maybe Aaron Judge, if he gets the record, I'd probably start getting his rookie card. He's a Yankee. That'll help. But basically, that's what you want to do. But the football betting is just, it's no different than poker. As long as you have the understanding, like this is how I play aces, and I'm going to play them that way every time. That's how I'm going to bet football. And I give you the why. So that's the whole key is why are you big? Somebody will make a comment to me and I'll go, well, I like this team. And I'll go, why? I like Bitcoin. Why do you like Bitcoin? Give me one reason you like it. Well, because it'll go up. What's going to make it go up? Nobody can answer that question for me because there is no answer because it's not an asset. If you can give me an answer, well, it's limited. I tell you to go buy a Tom Brady rookie card that I got 366 of and say, that's a lot more limited and it's a Brady card versus your Bitcoin. And, that's my point. Bitcoin's not money. It's certainly not gold, and it's certainly not an asset. So I have no understanding of why you'd buy crypto. I think I figured out a reason. I have a friend in Russia. She's asking me for money. I says, I don't have any way to get you money. They will not take credit card, debit card, MoneyGram, Western Union, PayPal. The only thing I could send her is crypto, but I don't do it. That would probably be the only reason to have crypto at this point. That's why a lot of the Russians are into crypto, is for that reason. But otherwise, that's just, you still have to get the money out, right? So if I gave her $1,000 in crypto, she'd still have to pull it out. Maybe in Russia, you could pull it out and buy rubles with it. I don't know, but that's what you would do. Another thing that's going to raise gold and silver is the West is not taking Russian gold coins. So Russia's probably pretty pissed about that, especially if you're Putin sitting on 13,000 tons of gold, but that'll make gold really go through the roof. So once this Comex is toast, which is really close, look out, and you're just going to sit there and go, fuck, I'm really planning to retire with all my gold and silver very soon. Once this price goes, then that's it. Be careful. Don't buy a house now. You can't buy a car. Houses will drop because supplying them. People need money. They'll sell the house. You sell the house, no buyers. It's just like $15 steak, right? If nobody will go to the grocery store and buy the steak for $15, the grocery store can't sell it for $15. They can only sell it at what the market will bear. Always keep in mind, it's the market. We are the market. I'm willing to spend 50 on this, but I won't spend 80. So if they want to sell it for 80, so if this is a house and you want to sell it for $100, all right, well, let's say you want to sell this for $500,000. And the market says, no, I'm not going to pay for it. You have to lower the price. But because you need money and you need to sell the house, you then are going to take and go down to the market. But because interest rates are higher, then you're going to have to take less because the market's saying, I'm not paying that. I can't afford it because interest rates are higher. And keep in mind, when the interest rate from the Fed is fighting inflation. So the reason when that goes up, let's say it went up to 5%, the reason the housing and the car interest rates would drop is because they feel that the inflation's under control. Because if they're lending you $100,000, you want to get paid back and you want 10%, you want 110,000 back. But if there's inflation and you get 110,000, it's really not 110, it's really 70,000 you're getting back because you're getting paid back in cheaper dollars, right? They keep printing it, it's cheaper. And I was reading on Zimbabwe today, and they keep printing, and there was a I think it was $1 billion bill that they printed because they had hyperinflation in 2015. The inflation rate was like 10,000%. And as they printed, it was worth even less. And they printed more, and then they started printing $1 billion bills. And it was a joke, and eventually it went out. And that's what's happening now. Their inflation rate's 300%. Well, once it's there, it's gone. And that's, ours is 10 going to 20. You don't raise interest rates 0.25%. Oh, okay, inflation's done, or any of the bullshit. It's strictly money, and it's strictly the more you're printing it. So just be careful. But that's what's happening. As people lose their jobs, they're going to need money. And when they need money, they're going to sell what they have. You're going to sell your assets. That's why you can get a house cheap or a car cheap. But if you have gold and silver, you're going to protect yourself. And that's really what's happening. Anyway, I just thought I'd talk about Comex, and I thought I would talk about gambling and my site based on the emails and questions I had. It's, if you've, gambling's, you gamble on stocks, you gamble in poker, you gamble on everything. Money, you're gambling on money. If you're holding the money in the bank, you're gambling, right? You got $50,000 in the bank. You're gambling that it's, that you have it. You're gambling, you're going to be able to get it out, and you're gambling the 50,000 is going to be worth 50. Because what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to get it out, and then they're going to tell you, you know what, it's worth 20. Because we fucked up the currency so bad that we can't give you your 50. And if you don't believe me, look what's happening in China. They're not letting the people get to their bank accounts. So the people aren't paying their mortgage, and China's in big fucking trouble with $10 trillion in debt. And that's why they won't go to war. Pelosi went for the election. That's it. Look at us, the Democrats. We went to Taiwan, to China. Believe me, China called them up and said, send Pelosi. It's okay, and we'll look good, and we'll fire missiles over Taiwan, which who cares? It's all an act. It's all David Blaine. Okay, keep your eye on here while I take the, it's really your cards, the 3 hearts. Look at the Jack of hearts, the Jack of spades. That's what's going on. Look at this hand while that hand does it. So basically, that's all that's happening. It's just a show, and we're run by the Chinese and the Russians. Don't forget that. And they want gold to go because of these wars and all this other. But there will not be a war with the U.S. and China, or anybody with Taiwan. Is not going to be a war. If it was going to be a war, they'd be a war. Pelosi went. Why didn't they shoot her down? Which was never going to happen. Why didn't they invade Taiwan? Because it ain't going to happen, because they make them. They make the super microchips, and they're the only ones that can make it. And China needs them as bad as the U.S. China's an exporter. They make goods. They need somebody to buy them. Guess who buys them? The U.S. They will never go to war because of the money. It's always about the money. Russia's in Ukraine for the oil. If China invaded Taiwan, they lose us as a customer. They're fucked, because they're already 10 trillion in debt, and then they can't sell anything. So China will not go to war with the U.S. They can look good, but they're never going to the war with the U.S. They won't go to war with some other small, they just take over Pakistan, India, these countries where they get them by debt, and then they strangle them. That's it. But anyway, keep that in mind. China, Russia, the BRICS countries are creating this new currency that'll be backed by gold and silver, which will make gold and silver go to the roof, go to the moon, and then basically that's what's happening, and the U.S. will slide out, and gold and silver goes through the roof. That's a fact of what is happening and what will happen. It's not a matter. They can't raise interest rates anymore. They might do 1.25% to look good. But now that the inflation rate went down to 8, they'll be like, oh, look what we're doing. We're not going to raise rates anymore. We've raised them 0.75 twice. We're good. That's it. And all they wanted to do was get to 2.5 anyway. So they just did it quicker. Now they look good, but really, it's inflation's 20%. It's at 2. Who's selling gold and putting their money in the bank to get 2% when inflation's 10? So you're losing 8% on your money. Well, let's say inflation's 20. You're losing 18% on your money. I want my money in the bank earning 2% if I get that, or I can be in gold and silver and forget the 2%. When it goes, it's going to go to the 20,000, 30,000. I'm going to make a lot more money than the interest. Anyway, have a good night. And again, thanks for watching. Again, www.teaserking.com. I will be posting week 1's games probably this weekend. If you're buying, again, it's the best package is $750 for the year. Normally $1,100. I'm giving everybody a break because of all the bullshit going on. $600 if you want the pros for the year, $600 for the college. But if you're going to pay $600 for that, pay $750. You get everything, all the locks included. So that's coming. But I would, you got till week 1 really. But again, I'm going to post the games probably now because I want to get the good price in and before the lines move. Although, as Nick's pointed out, you got to be careful, because if the Wake Forest quarterback got ruled out for the season today, then if you bet Wake Forest, they're not in week 1. They're playing some Division II game. So you're okay. But let's say you bet, I don't know, well, week 1's kind of a week, but let's say you bet Notre Dame and now the quarterback's out. Well, you're fucked. But that's you kind of want to wait a little bit longer. But I do like getting them, posting them a little early to get the good line that we like. If I see a good line, I want to bet it before the line moves. I know 99% of the time where the line's going. I know where it's going. I can tell you a line that's 2 is going to 3.5. I'm going to get it in at 2. So I know where the action is. Again, I'm the sharp that everybody talks about. You have me. And I'm here to share my knowledge because I'm a good boy. But keep that in mind. So I'm not a salesman. I'm not trying to, do anything like that. I am an analyst, and I'm damn good at picking football, gold, silver, economics, markets, but I use that in picking the football. I use all those skills. So that's why I'm pretty damn good at it. And I've been damn good for years. So anyway, have a nice night. www.teaserking.com. Again, please go there, email me with questions or comments, and I'm happy to answer, or I'll do this if I get a couple of comments. Like the lady said, well, if the dollar goes out, what will happen to gold? Well, what's going to happen to your house? What's going to happen to your Montana card or your jewels? They're going to go to whatever currency it is. It's not going to go to zero. It's going to, you got diamonds. They're worth $100,000. They're going to be worth whatever in whatever currency it's going to be in, or gold or silver. So no, you're not going to. It doesn't go to zero. There'll be a new currency, and everything will be revalued in that. But gold will be huge, or your diamond, or your pearls, or your gold necklaces, or your wedding rings. The value will be huge because those are assets. And everybody will want assets. That's the keys, the assets. All right, everybody, have a great night. And I will see you probably, what's today, Wednesday night, probably Friday night or Saturday. For sure, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, we'll find a talk, but probably the economy and then getting ready for football. I might try to go through some pros, although I really need to see the quarterbacks and what's going on with half these teams. All right, everybody, take care. www.teaserking.com. Thank you.